So hi, welcome to the first episode slash video of this channel ever. My name is Melody and I really love books. Therefore, I'm a bookworm. Therefore, I need an outlet to talk about my favorite authors slash my favorite books slash my favorite characters slash my fictional husbands and boyfriends. I thought I'd create this channel, and the reason why I wanted to do a book tag and not like a introduction to who I am is because, let's face it, if you're a bookworm and you meet other people, you actually judge them based on the books that they read, the books that they love, the books that they despise, and basically what they hoard on their bookshelves. I found this one book tag. I'm sorry, I don't know who came up with this book tag. It's a little bit old, and I just got the questions and I just want to jump right into it. This is a little bit hard. I could not like pinpoint that is my favorite book, although if you are friends with me, my friends that really know me, I think they would either say that my favorite book is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green or The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I would say I can't really, it's kind of a tie between the both of them, but if I had to choose, I would go with The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky because I just utterly and completely love that book. On a side note, I also want to say that I really loved the movie. If you haven't watched the movie yet, go watch the movie. But before you watch the movie, I would really recommend that you read this book. It's amazing. I adore John Green. His books is what actually started my love for young adult fiction. Really love young adult fiction. But I also love dystopian fiction. But if I had to choose young adult. If you would have asked me like 4 years ago, I would say The Hunger Games because it was the first dystopian book series that I've ever read. The Hunger Games is what started my love for dystopian fiction. And then after that, it's just spiraled down into Divergent. But I also love the Legend series by Mary Lou. Basically, I can't make up my mind. I don't really recall having read a book in school that I did not enjoy or that I did not like. Although, if there's one book or one textbook that I despised reading in school, that would be math. All the math books, all the math textbooks. The first book that I remember reading as a child would be Heidi. I loved Heidi when I was a kid, and it was always that one book that I would go back to no matter what. Like in my spare time, it would always be Heidi that I would read over and over and over again. Whoa. When I was a kid, in Switzerland, every Wednesday, my whole class, we would go to the public library, and we would just, like, our teacher would just tell us, like, look for a nook somewhere in the library, pick up a book, and just read. We would have, like, an hour or an hour and a half of just reading and just immersing in the books, and I loved it. Every time I go to Manila now, every time I go to Fort Bonifacio, it's like this strip of like restaurants, high-end boutiques and clothing stores, makeup stores, whatnot. For me, I only see fully booked. You know what? You guys can go. You guys can like go eat. You can do whatever you want to do. You go wherever you want to go. Just leave me here. When you're done, just come and pick me up. I'm just gonna just leave me here. So yeah, I would pick both. Like I could get pretty much lost in a library and in a bookstore. I feel like every book lover has their electronic reading devices, and they also have their physical books. If I were to count the books that I have on my Kindle and my physical books that I have, at least more than 30 books. I have a lot of books in my Kindle. don't really read books before bed all the time. You know, when you start working and just being able to do just completely nothing is like a blessing, I tell you. Just doing completely nothing after a long, tiring day. But if there is a book that I just cannot put down for the life of me, I will actually stay up until the wee hours of the morning and read, or until I can just keep my eyes open. I don't have a most comfortable reading position. It's just always so hard to just have one comfortable reading position that you can be in for an extended period of time, or like until you finish the book. How Hard Can Love Be by Holly Bourne. I've just recently discovered this writer. Okay, there's a little bit of a backstory to this. I am so gutted. This is one time I went to our local bookstore and I saw her book, The Manifesto on How to Be Interesting, and Am I Normal Yet? And How Hard Can Love Be. They were all like lined up next to each other. And I was so broke that time. I just admired them, and like I just took mental note that I want to buy next time. Actually, my heart was set on buying The Manifesto on How to Be Interesting and Am I Normal Yet first. But then when I went back, they were all gone. They were like all sold out. These are the only books that were left. I looked at the title and then I looked at the synopsis in the back and I was like, this is so cliche. Then I was like, you know what? Let's just not judge it by the title, and I really want to read her books. And since Am I Normal Yet and The Manifesto on How to Be Interesting like got sold out in just that one day that I did not pick them up, I thought if I don't grab this book right now, the next time I come back, it's gonna be sold out as well. So I bought it and I read it and I absolutely loved it. You should admire the cover. I just love it. It's just so minimalistic and it's just so youthful and I love it. So one of the quotes from Perks of Being a Wallflower, Sam, before she was about to leave for Penn State, she was packing up her things, and so she tells Charlie, you can't just put everyone's life ahead of yours and think that counts as love. I really connect with Charlie's character in the sense that sometimes you think that you count it as love when you put everyone else ahead of you. And you know, it's not wrong to be selfless and put other people first and other people in front of you. That is totally not wrong. It's actually very good and it's a good virtue to have. But sometimes you also have to think about yourself and what you want. And you know, in order to get where you want to get, in order to get what you want, you kind of also have to put yourself first before other people. And that's not being selfish. You also have to value yourself more. If you don't value yourself enough and you don't value yourself more, how can you fully value other people as well? And then there's this other quote on page 156, and as you can see, I highlighted it. Because things change and friends leave and life doesn't stop for anybody. Things around you and even yourself, you just keep changing and changing, you keep evolving. And as you evolve and as you change, the people around you evolve and the people around you change as well. And sometimes the friends, even the closest friends that you have, sometimes they leave. And life just doesn't stop for anybody. It just really hit home for me hard. And it's just so true. You can't do anything about that but to just accept that. To just accept that reality. And you know, life doesn't stop for anybody, and the only thing that you can do is to just move on. I don't think I really regret reading any books. Let's say I have books that I really didn't like, that really didn't appeal to me, but I wouldn't go as far as saying that there was any book that I actually regret reading. I don't really have like my own bookshelf. I actually just share bookshelves with my mom. It's kind of funny. We have like an old like computer stand slash table that we don't use anymore, because we got rid of that huge like box computer that we used to have. So that's actually where all of my books are stacked right now. But I don't have per se like my own bookshelf. I really do want one, but we are also in the process of, you know, moving or planning to move. So I don't think that buying a bookshelf right now and setting it up is actually, you know, a good idea, since we're gonna move anyway. So I'm gonna reserve that for when we actually move. I used to really get caught up in, you know, how many books can I read in a week, or how many books can I read in a month. And I don't know where that came from. Maybe this mentality really came from the fact that I have friends who are very fast readers. Like, I have actually this one friend, and it's crazy because she's such a fast reader. She can read like up to 5 to 10 books in the span of 2 days. And like, for me, that's almost unheard of. There was this mentality that I used to have, that if I don't read as fast as other people do, or like as fast as my friends do, obviously I will also not get to read a new book that fast. And I wouldn't say that I'm a very slow reader. I would say that I'm more of an average reader. The thing is with me though, I really want to absorb everything that I read, and sometimes I actually go back a few pages and reread them just in case I didn't catch on the smallest details. And I don't know if that's just me, but I used to be really caught up with like how many books can I read in a month, and I actually used to do that like 2 years ago. I would like count every single book that I read every month, and there were times where I actually read like 11 books in a month, and that might not even be that much to other people, but to me it was a big deal. But then I thought that I kind of just did it because I wanted to be kind of up to par with other people in terms of how fast they read. But then I realized that that's a wrong mentality, and that's just not the kind of reader I am. Like, when I finish a book, I have this like Christine May would call it from Pollen and Banana Books, like the mourning period. And like, I would seriously just, for like maybe a week or 3 days after, I would just still like reflect on the book that I just read and just have this hangover. And I feel like if I pick up another book right away, I feel like I've just betrayed the book that I just read. Something like that. I know it's weird, but that's just how I work. And now I don't really care that much anymore how many books that I've read in a year or in a month or in a week, as long as I just keep reading, as long as I just keep picking up new books, picking up a book at all and read. And it's been a good journey. A book that I could never get tired of reading off novel-wise would be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I read it 100 of times over because I wrote a thesis, or it was part of my thesis when I wrote it in college. I could also read The Perks of Being a Wallflower over and over again. Novel-wise, these are the books that I could read over and over again. But non-novel-wise, it would be the Bible, because it's more than just a book to me. It every day affirms the love that my Savior has for me. It's essential to me in my walk of being a Christian. I live in the Philippines, and if I'm pretty sure you know, or in case you don't know, it's like blimmin' hot here in the Philippines. It's like hot all year round. I'd read outside if I was outside, but usually I either read at home or on my way when I'm doing errands, like inside the Jeeps or inside the car, or I would read inside a cafe where it's nice and cold because of the air conditioner. Biggest lesson that I've learned from reading books, I would say reading books, not just from a book. Here in the Philippines, the Filipinos are very like romantic and we love like romantic stories. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't love romantic stories and like a good love story? I personally am at heart, I'm such a hopeless romantic, but the thing that just irks me all the time is that when people get so disappointed when they read a book and it's like there happens to be a love story, but then those two don't like end up with each other. Unless you really read in between the lines and get the main idea and main gist of the story and, you know, the main plot, that sometimes it's not always about a love story. There are so many other facets to life than just a love story. And I think that goes for any story. Like there's so much more than just this one facet that we always usually gravitate towards to. What also books have taught me is to pay attention to details, these characters and what they're going through. And also what books have taught me is to, you know, how to treat other people better. Sometimes we think that we only have like this small of an impact towards people, like on other people's lives, but actually these small things, the smallest things that we say, the smallest things that we do to these people actually can impact them in such a great way. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned from books and from reading books. Every single book has taught me something new, something else. And so maybe I can answer that from, you know, when I make like individual reviews of the individual books that I really like and that I really enjoyed. One of the greatest books that I've read last year was The Summer I Became a Nerd by Leah Ray Miller. And I just dove right into that book. One of my friends recommended the book to me and I fell in love with the book and I loved it so much. And you know, the title may be very misleading and you think it's very cliche. I really love the story. It's basically about this girl when she's alone inside her house, inside her room. She's the nerd that she always was. But then once she steps outside of the house and she goes to school, she transforms into this popular girl that like everyone just loves and adores, and she has the hot boyfriend and, you know, popular kids as her friends and stuff. But whenever she wants to buy like her comic, she actually orders it on the internet instead of going to a comic shop, because she doesn't want her reputation to be ruined. So the story actually progresses in her slowly embracing her real self, which is the nerdy self that she is. I really love the story so much, and I might also make a book review on that one. So yeah, those were all the questions. Yes. If you stuck throughout this whole video listening to me babble on about answering these questions, thank you so much. And I'm actually happy that I started this channel. If you're willing to stick around and see more content and to fangirl with me and to discuss books with me, and if you love books so much as well as I do, then please subscribe and, you know, hit me with your suggestions in the in the comment section below. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions for books that you want me to read or review, then let me know and I'll do that. And yeah, I hope and I'm excited for new content that I can put out on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye!